The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us here today. And happy holidays to everybody. We have a great couple weeks ahead of us and also great guests on this show and also next week. I'm your host, Bill Knapik, and as always, just go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. That's where you can see and hear all the shows at stewart.com/radio. So let's get down to business right now as we welcome Jimmy Green. The company is called Green & Associates. Jimmy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. Glad to be here.
Well, it's great to see you. The company, Green like the color. You can't make a mistake, right?
Not at all.
It is awesome. Let's tell people, Jimmy, about your company, Green & Associates.
So we're an independent brokerage. We've been in business in Willis, Texas for 21 years now. We have a long line of family brokers. I'm a broker. My mother, my grandfather, my great-grandfather have all been real estate brokers. Just a family business. We love it.
It's all in the family.
All in the family.
And that's exciting. Well, as you give us an idea, as you grew up with real estate all around you, what was the inspiration for you to say, well, I think I want to be a part of this?
Watching the smile on everybody's face when they get to move into that house, or then when they buy their land, or when they buy their commercial building to start their business. It's always a satisfaction when they get their keys.
Plenty of smiles to go around at
Every
the closing.
day. Yeah.
Especially at Stewart Title, right, Jimmy?
Always. Yeah.
So as we think about the marketplace, and certainly people listening here in Houston, they have an idea of how big and the radius that reaches out when we say greater Houston area. Give us an idea of the area that you and your realtors serve.
So we're in the Willis area, which is just north of Lake Conroe, which is 20 miles north of the Woodlands. So as far as being in the greater Houston area, we're in it now. We're 42 miles from Willis to Houston. It's not that far. And everybody seems like every day at 5 o'clock there's more and more cars still going north, passing Willis.
Well, I think it's interesting as we think about Willis, Texas. I bet there are people right now in Houston that even though it's not that far away, they may not think or know much about Willis, Texas. So give us a little background on Willis, Texas for those Houstonians and those that are listening far and wide. What's going on in Willis, Texas?
So Willis, Texas, you're right. Nobody knows what Willis, Texas is. So when we tell them Lake Conroe, and then they know where Willis, Texas is. So we are just the north end of Lake Conroe. We have a lot of land in the area, have a lot of houses sitting right on Interstate 45, just lots of growth and lots of people coming in.
Well, for someone that's looking for real estate in Willis, as far as would we be able to expect, because I think one of the reasons, if you're already in the city, whether it's Houston or another city, you may want to go to Willis, sure, Conroe, some of these other places to perhaps have extra room. So would we be able to find that, Jimmy, say, in Willis?
There's a lot of new developments that are coming up and have this year and started for next year. They give you chances to have half acre, 1 acre. There's tracts up there that have 3 to 4 acre tracts. A lot of our clients have split land up. We sell 10-acre tracts, so there's a great chance of when you get up to Willis and to Montgomery County that you can find more land and spread out a little bit.
So it sounds like there may be people that just heard that, Jimmy, that are thinking, you know what, I want a little elbow room. I might want to go to Willis, Texas, Conroe, because in fact, the other thought that comes to mind is as people have extra days off, there may be some exploration right up in your area.
For sure. Lots of signs out right now, so there's plenty of driving for people to do and look at everything we have to offer.
Well, from an inventory standpoint, how much, because sometimes we hear about inventory being at a shortage in some areas. What about if someone does want to buy a second home, or I even know people that may want to buy a home in the country and then just keep even an apartment to be here in the city area?
Sure.
What's available?
There's stuff available. Actually, right now everything's short as far as resales go, just the way our market is. But there's plenty of options, and usually there's always something you can find up there to buy.
We're talking with Jimmy Green and Associates. Green like the color. I love that, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
So as far as the outlook, here we are. We're finishing out the year. Everybody's thinking about how we're going to approach 2024. What are the thoughts that you guys are talking about over there at Green and Associates?
Work hard. You better work hard right now, because if you don't, it's going to pass you right by. And if you're not out there every day, somebody will be, and we're one of those that will be there every day. So you better work hard the rest of this year and next year.
Good time to set some goals, you think?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, and the other thing, you mentioned the real estate has been part of your family for so many years. But as far as what you've learned, you've been in real estate. Let's tell people about how many years.
I've done this now for 20 years.
20 years.
I've listened to it since I was 4 or 5 years old, riding in my mom's back seat, going to show houses. But I've done it 20 years. My mother's been in this for 42 years. My grandfather was a broker who also retired from HUD as the chief appraiser. My great-grandfather was a broker. My dad did real estate for over 20 years before he passed away. And my sister's done mortgage loans for 23 years. And my oldest daughter is about to become a real estate attorney. So when we say it's in the blood, it's in the blood.
Exactly. I was just thinking if we were to do a blood sample, it would be real estate.
Come out in real
estate.
Yeah.
Real estate.
Yeah.
I'm also guessing when you were younger, you probably were putting some signs up helping the family.
Signs up right on the back of four-wheelers, wheeling off acreage tracks to know where to cut it, split it.
Well, give us an idea, as you mentioned, acreage, and again, going back to the families and individuals that want to have a little more elbow room. Can I get a house with 2 acres, 5, and maybe even more in your area?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What are the price points up there?
Land right now up there for 2 to 3 acre tracts, you're looking anywhere from 60 to 80, 90,000 per acre.
It's just for the land.
Just for the land. Yeah.
And then as far as the idea of someone buys land, and you've probably been a part of this many times, someone buys land and then they say, oh, I want to build on it. Mm-hmm. How difficult? I think it's difficult, but how difficult is it really to find someone to put up a house or a couple metal buildings and things like that?
Pretty easy. There's plenty of contractors and new home builders up in that area, and that's what they specialize in. Not just the cookie cutter spec houses, but the customs on land and on acreage. And barn dominiums. A lot of them are building barn dominiums up there now.
See, to me, that's what would have, personally, a lot of appeal, the idea of having a barn dominium, something that's durable, also to have that country feel.
Sure.
You've seen a lot of that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir. There's a lot of them coming up in that area.
As far as, let's say, right now, if you were to think of some of the listings that might be happening in the barn dominium idea, have you seen any lately?
Yeah, there's a few. There for a while, it was tough finding comps because there wasn't any resales. People were building the barn doors because they wanted to keep them, not just sell them. But we see more of them now, and we're starting to see some specs of people building barn doors to sell.
That sounds pretty good to me. As far as social media and some of the things that you do from a marketing standpoint, what are some of the things that you really promote, or where it's a distinction, so to speak, for your company?
We're really big about our schools. Everything in Willis ISD, we're all about. If you want to sponsor for golf or swimming or fishing or wrestling or a PTO or cheer or anything, and you're part of Willis ISD, you're probably going to get it from us.
I think one of the other advantages, I'm thinking, you've been a part of the community up there for so long.
Yes, sir. Someone's
listening, say, right here in Uptown Houston, or who knows, Indiana or somewhere else. Probably the go-to guy for Willis, Conroe, and those areas.
We are number 1 on Google. We've been there longer than anybody else has as far as offices go, and we're the first ones you find when you look up real estate in Willis, Texas.
So when people find you, or are you serving buyers that come from outside of Houston?
A little bit. A lot of the people that are looking for land are people looking to spread out, and they're coming from Houston, even Tomball, Cypress, just spaces. And even that area has land, not as much as we do. I mean, we have a lot. there's a lot more people in Tomball, Houston, Cypress than there is in Willis, Texas. Like this, you're getting up there a little ways, and there's.
Well, when people find you, let's say from out of state, Jimmy, how do they find you? From the internet, or do you do some social media that happens to click?
Mainly the internet. Yeah. Like I said, we're not real big on social media. I know everybody is these days. We do Facebook, of course, but other than that, like I said, we're big in our community.
Jimmy, let's tell people the website in case they want to. Do you have listings on your website and things?
Yes, sir.
Let's tell them the website.
greenandassociatesrealestate.com.
Green, Green,
and A-N-D, associates.com.
And before we close this segment, Jimmy, what else do you want people to know?
Give us a call. Come see us. See what all Willis and Montgomery County has to offer.
You heard it right here. Go see Jimmy Green in Willis, Texas. If you don't know about Willis, I bet it's a good place to go for a weekend, have a little lunch, explore.
Lots of things to do up on Lake Conroe. You're not far from the National Forest, from Huntsville State Park. You're 20 minutes away. There's lots of opportunities, things to do.
Buy a second or third house.
Or fourth.
Sounds good to me. Jimmy, let's tell people how they can reach you.
281-799-1029.
Again?
281-799-1029.
Thank you so much, Jimmy Green.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
As we continue, let's talk to Molly McGinty. She is with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Worldwide Realty. Molly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
It is awesome to see you. So let's tell people, Molly, you are with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Worldwide Realty. Let's tell people about the company.
So we are a company that actually has agents all across the state of Texas. We have been around for a very long time. The broker in charge is Ellen Johnston, and fun fact, she happens to be my aunt.
How about that? Here we are, family show as it continues. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So there you are with the company. And as far as the way you approach real estate, is it geographically or what kind of areas do you cover mostly?
So I am proud to say that I'm a sphere-based referral agent. I have never paid for a lead ever in my business. So I go where the people need me. I do work a lot of the Cyfair, Katy, Klein ISD areas here inside the loop where I live near downtown, and then also Galveston. I practiced prior to being a real estate agent as an educational diagnostician in the Cyfair and Klein ISD school districts, and a lot of my clientele come from my days in the schools.
Well, it's interesting. So many great real estate professionals have an educational background, so it's working real well for you, huh?
Great, yeah.
As far as the marketplace right now, here we are, end of the year, just a few weeks, maybe even days left, depending how you look at it. As you look forward to 2024, what are some of the things that you're doing from either a goal setting or even a preparation standpoint as you look ahead? We never know what's ahead, the unknown, but we know it's going to be an exciting and dynamic year.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I just finished my business planning for 2024, and I am super excited about some of the events that I get to do this coming year, like floral arranging, and my annual holiday hayride in Lazy Brook Timber Grove is on December 17th, and we normally have about 150 people come out for that event. It will be my 7th annual this year. And just in general, I really love on my sphere, and I'm looking forward to hopefully those interest rates adjusting. I did hear that perhaps the Fed's going to be kind to us over the next few weeks and give us a little bit of a break. We'll see how it goes.
I'm still thinking about the hayride because that sounds like a unique thing that you're doing with your friends and associates, and perfect time of year for a hayride.
Yeah, it's so fun. It has been a cornerstone of my business from the beginning.
Maybe we don't want to tell anybody.
I know. Well,
word's out.
Listen, I don't mind sharing. Anything that I do, you're welcome to do too. There's plenty for everyone. But it's I started out because we have such a cute neighborhood decoration contest in the Lazy Brook area. And I thought, what a great way for all the kids to see all of the lights. And it also dawned on me that here inside the loop, some of these children have probably never seen hay or a trailer. And my family comes from the Lake Livingston area. So I called my dad and I said, hey, Dad, could you do me a solid? And he brought his truck and his trailer down. And that was 7 years ago. And now it's big. Now we have 2 trucks and 2 trailers and hay. And the local church comes and they bring books for the children. Santa Claus comes. We have a frozen hot chocolate truck that comes. And anyway, it's a great event.
It sounds fantastic. Now, like the people that have not seen hay, I have seen hay, but it has been a long time. I need to see some soon. In the meantime, so that's exciting. When we think about you're in real estate now for quite a few years, right? Mm-hmm. So when you think about the changes and then how you're going to approach, how you're going to tackle, say, a new year, are you incorporating anything different this year that you think, hey, I think this is going to work, or I'm going to take this direction, than say what you did in 2023?
I've really focused a lot on organizing my database more than I ever have in the past, because I do think that people work with somebody that they know, like, and trust. And so rather than, sort of sending out a bunch of mailers and those kinds of things, which I also do, I've really honed in on my database, cleaned it up, and just pushing the social media. That has, I like to joke and say that Facebook is my bread and butter, but Instagram is my jam, because I love Instagram. But at the end of the day, Facebook, I get a ton of business from that because families have watched me over the years grow. Parents have now recommended me to their children who are buying their first homes. I've helped with second homes, all from just that following on social media. So I'll continue to pour in more and more to that with the video and the consistently trying to be the local knowledge broker.
So it sounds like Facebook is more effective. You're getting more results from Facebook?
I get consistent results from Facebook. I actually get my higher price point listings from my Instagram leads.
Tell us a little, for those that haven't used Instagram or know a lot about it, give us just a quick word on how a realtor uses Instagram or where it's most effective.
I think the most important part about social media, and Instagram specifically, is that people want to know you before they actually know you. And so they have a chance to see who you are. And if you're only posting real estate things, or you're only posting, these like cookie cutter, happy holidays things, that's not where you're going to get the drive out of Instagram. You have to let people have a little vision into your life, like a little bit of what you do every day, how you do it, who you actually are, so that when you sit down in front of them, they already know you. They already know that they want to work with you. Now you just have to show them what you do for them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is the essence of social media, and also media appearances, just like when we see celebrities and people on TV, radio, and that sort of thing, even podcasts. When we see them, it's like, hey, I already know you. There's things I like about you. Now let's see how we work together.
Yeah, and I also think along the same line of what you're talking about, you have to be your most authentic self. If you post that you're so-and-so and such, and you're so nice and happy on social media, and then they meet you in person and you're like,
Grinch.
Suddenly you're losing that business for sure.
Exactly. Well, of course, the other thing is to have the understanding, as you do, about social media. So that's very interesting. I'm still thinking of the hayride, by the way. But just a side note, that is a very creative idea, by the way.
Thank you.
So what about the summertime when it's not hayride season?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Anything fun there? So
every year we also do a big event at Carbach Brewery. And it's a cornhole tournament, and it's really, really fun. I mean, now just families come and like to enjoy the outside over there. They've got a great outdoor area. And so that was also, I think, one of the second things I did when I started really trying to grow my business. But if I can tell you about one other thing I haven't mentioned yet.
Please do, yeah.
My very favorite back to school event is my free coffee event. And using Instagram and Facebook, I think on the first day of school, the kindest thing you can do is give an educator a cup of coffee, because they need all the help they can get. And so I create a Starbucks gift card and you get the barcode, and I make that into an Instagram post and a Facebook post. And I just ask for them to take that photo to Starbucks, buy whatever coffee they want, scan my little barcode, and I'll pay for it. I'm buying it. Take a photo and tag me. And I watch the code throughout the day. I think this past first day of school, I spent about $550. We bought over 300 coffees. And the very last one was purchased by a teacher in Fort Knox. So it reaches all across the United States. And now I've started doing it also like first day back from the holiday and that kind of thing.
Give us an idea, as obviously you're very creative and you think a lot, like most real estate professionals do, you think a lot about your business and what you're going to do, but that requires creative time, right? Mm-hmm. So as you think about these things, do you have a time where you block it and say, I'm going to think about my business now, or I'm going to plan, and/or when do you get your most creative ideas?
I do. I actually, every Thursday is office day for me, which means I sit down and do the office things, the business building things, working on my business. And I really fully believe in the power of a mentor and a coach. And I have enlisted both of those throughout from the very first day of my very first closing I ever closed. I took every penny I made from that closing and I bought a website and I paid for a year of coaching up front and business cards. And I've never not done it that way. I also think that as a realtor, you could not work ever and no one would know. So every morning you have to get up and go to work. And so every morning I get up and I go to my office. Thursdays, I try not to leave my office. I try to sit and plan. And then my most creative ideas, I don't know. I have the most amazing support group that I've met through my brokerage. There are agents all across the United States who we were called with Berkshire Hathaway. It's called the Rethink Council. We're the millennial think tank. And those friends that I was with them for a short period of time working together have become lifelong friends. And when we talk on our text exchange, those ideas grow from tiny little like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about hiring a photographer to take pictures of pets for Valentine's Day because I hate Valentine's Day, that turns into this smooch-a-pooch event that has grown so much for my clients. And now there's one in Houston, there's one in St. Louis, they do one in Redondo Beach, and there's one in Pittsburgh. And it all came from me saying, I really hate Valentine's Day and I need to do something that would be fun. And so that's where it grows. That group is where I grow.
Why do they hate Valentine's Day?
I do. I just don't like it.
Interesting. Well, that's it. Maybe another show there. Now, as you mentioned,
call me.
As you mentioned, the idea of having people get to know you, social media and other things we do here, they're getting to know you on the radio and all that. But as far as when you're not in real estate, when you're not practicing real estate, what are the hobbies? Do you bring that forth on social media where you say, oh, here I am boating, or here I am golf, whatever it is? Do you open that part of your life up to serve your business or just to feel good?
Yeah, I have a lot of hobbies and things I love to do, and I do think it's important that you share those things on social media. I have taught jazzercise classes for nearly 15 years, something like that. I teach at the Westview Rec Center, and I talk about that on social a lot. I love to offshore fish, and I talk about that a lot online. And I'm a mom, and so a lot of what my daughter does, I'm with her. She plays basketball. She's all over, activities, and so I follow that. And
sounds awesome. We're talking with Molly McGinty. She is with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Worldwide Realty. Molly, let's tell people how they can reach you.
I am Molly Sold It on all of the social media outlets, and my phone number is 713-471-0527 and mollysoldit.com.
Molly Sold It. That's a good one.
That's me. Thank you.
And the number again, Molly, is
713-471-0527.
Thanks for being with us, Molly.
Thanks. I had so much fun.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Let's talk money with Chad Prio and Mary Ann Ramirez. Chad, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Well, here we are. You're in the money world. It's the lifeblood, right, Chad?
Absolutely.
Nothing rolls unless we have money to pay, finance, and all those things. So let's tell people the company is Hancock Mortgage. Let's tell people about your company.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, Hancock Mortgage is a mortgage company. We do all sorts of traditional lending from FHA, conventional, and what we love most is VA loans. But we also have divisions where we're able to do commercial and investment loans. So we can do basically any type of loan anyone needs we have other than lot loans.
And I think that's when we talk to mortgage professionals, it's probably a real art form, and you've been in the world of mortgage for a long time, to be able to know what kind of loan is right for the individual or family. What thinking goes into that from your perspective?
Yeah, so what we like to do is always look at what the short-term and long-term financial goals of that family are, right? You can structure a mortgage many different ways. I mean, you can structure them highest cost, lowest fees, but not every mortgage works for every single person. Obviously, there's a lot of things that go into it. Credit, income, and assets are going to be the most important. So a lot of times when you see things online or you talk to your friends, that may or may not be exactly what you're going to get. So what we try to do is figure out how can we help someone figure out what their purchasing power is going to be.
So, and that's a process. Let's tell people, if they're thinking they're out there right now, I believe this is a perfect time of year, regardless of interest rates. I would say this every year at this time. This is a great time to buy a home or to look at homes. End of the year, it's cooler. We're planning ahead for the next year. But as far as people being ready, if someone's listening right now and they say, I'm ready to buy a home, I'm thinking about it in the next month or two, what are the things that the individual or family should do to prepare for the adventure of the mortgage and all those other things?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing you need to do is get with a great mortgage professional that can actually help you find out what your purchasing power is. Once you do that, you need to go out and find a successful real estate agent that is familiar with the area and is going to be able to help you find the home that meets your family's needs. A lot of times folks, they're scared if this is the first time they've done it, or maybe, like you said, the interest rates are not what they once were just a few years ago. So what we try to explain to people is even if you think you're ready and maybe you're not ready, what you still want to do is talk to someone on the front end to basically be able to put a mortgage plan together.
And as far as what is their preparation, what kind of documents and things do they need to have ready to go to say, because there are people that you run into, I'm sure, that are renting right now and they're saying, maybe this is the year I'm going to buy something, the way the market is, there may be some great opportunities. What paperwork do they need to have ready to go when they get on the phone to talk to you?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, there's some statistics that show in Houston, 40% of renters can actually buy. They just don't necessarily know it. So, it's going to be really important, like we said, the credit, income, and assets. So a lot of that paperwork is going to be your pay stubs. It's going to be your tax returns. And, of course, it's going to be where are those funds coming from. Is it going to be coming from your personal bank accounts? Will it be coming from your 401k? Or if you need a gift, will it be coming from a family member?
Yeah, I like the gift part. I haven't had any gifts personally speaking, but a gift is nice. This is the season of gift giving as well, right?
Absolutely.
Well, and also we have Mary Ann here, Mary Ann Ramirez. And Mary Ann, let's tell people what you do on the team, Mary Ann.
I run Chad's marketing department, so I go out and I talk with all the real estate agents and see how we could help them grow their business.
So in the marketing of Hancock Mortgage, give people an idea as you talk to real estate professionals, what's the message that you bring forth to say, hey, we're over here, Chad and I, we're helping you?
Well, we love to help you grow your business. We're not just there to make our business grow. The more that we're able to help the agents grow their business, then comes back to us. So we're a team. We consider ourselves part of their team, not just a mortgage company.
And right now, as far as the beginning of next year, I guess you're getting ready and you're all scheduled out. You have a lot of things going on.
Yes, we are. We're busy. Like you said, it's the time of giving and being joyful. So we're out there with the agents, just showing our appreciation that we have had throughout the year with them.
So many things bring joy, but money is right up there, right?
Definitely.
Well, Chad, give us an idea of some of the other things. Let's say you talked about someone that with the pay stubs and things like that, but what if I'm in business for myself? How much more difficult is it to go through the process, and you're smiling, so that must mean.
Well, I'm smiling because a lot of times people think that self-employed borrowers are more difficult to get approved, and in reality, they're not. We do look at things that are a little bit different. For example, it's going to be based on your tax returns and a 2-year average. But let's say you are taking some of the advantages that the tax laws and you don't report a lot of income. We also offer programs where we can do 12 or 24-month bank statement loans for a lot of our self-employed borrowers. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Tell us a bit about that, a 24-month bank statement loan. What is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be predominantly for your self-employed borrowers, and what that's going to do is it's a cash flow analysis. So again, on their personal tax returns, they might not be reporting a lot of personal income because their business has write-offs, depreciation, things of that nature. So what we do is we get 12 months of their business accounts, and then we go through and we have it analyzed, and we do a cash flow analysis based on the revenues generated minus the expenses to come up with an average. In fact, we just are in the process of closing one that was denied by multiple lenders because they didn't offer those types of programs, and so we're really excited to be able to offer that.
And let's say, I just now thought about this, someone is retired, not working, but obviously they'll have some kind of asset profile. What happens when someone's retired and they say, hey, Chad, I want to get a loan? How does that work?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple different loans that would be good products for them. The first would be an asset depletion loan, which is kind of a non-QM, kind of a similar setup to the 24-month bank statement program. Or we can use their retirement income, whether it's Social Security or TRS from being a teacher. But we're also seeing a big influx of right now, which we also do, is the reverse mortgages. They're called HECMs, reverse for purchase. So that's a great deal as well.
Is that very popular right now?
Absolutely. It's based on age. It's a lot less lenient when it comes to credit and things like that. So the primary factor for qualifying for one of those loans is the taxes and insurance, because again, it's based on your age and life expectancy.
And then how many times a week does someone say, Chad, what's the interest rate?
It's not. It is definitely not times a week. It is definitely times a day these days.
Really?
The market's been extremely volatile. Absolutely.
So they want to know, what's the interest rate? And then, of course, it depends on, right?
Yeah, well, the hard part with that is I could tell you something this morning, and then this afternoon it could be totally different. So I spoke to someone at 5 o'clock on Friday, and the market was a little volatile this morning, and so the rate had changed a little bit. So, that's a little bit of a loaded question.
So what are some of the other things that people need to know that I haven't asked you about that they should know when they're thinking about a loan or thinking about buying a house? And, what about veterans?
Yeah, so, the thing that people need to understand is buying a house, like you said at the beginning of the show, is buying now is really the best time to ever buy, right? I always like to ask people, when do you think the best time to buy was? And, the answer would be like 5 years ago or 2 years ago or a year ago, because the reality is, even with the volatility in the marketplace with interest rates, homes have continued to appreciate in Houston for quite some time, right? So what we typically will do with all of our clients is we'll do a buyer consultation where we show them how they can increase their net worth by $75,000 to $100,000, and all they have to do is buy a home today. So what we also tell people is, marry the house and date the rate. It's kind of a corny phrase that, was being popular as rates were going up, but we are going to see some stability, and a lot of experts do believe that in the next 12 to 18 months, things will settle down. So everybody just needs to go ahead and buy a house today and then refinance when the market improves.
It's not that big a deal to refinance, right?
It's really not. Rate, believe it or not, is the littlest mover when it comes to your monthly payment. I know that's kind of what we've been conditioned as consumers to believe, but if you find a home in a lower tax bracket, you can actually save hundreds of dollars a month by just buying something, with maybe a 2.5% tax rate than a 3.2 tax rate.
How, if you're serving a buyer, let's say outside of Texas, how are they finding out about you? Are you dealing with people that are coming from other states?
Yeah, a little bit. Now, I'm predominantly, all my business is pretty much going to be Texas. We're licensed in Texas, but our company, we're in 48 different states. So, but like, Molly said earlier, social media, 90% of our business does come from our social media outlets, whether it's through our branding efforts or the networking events we're in.
So, Marianne, let's tell people some of the things that are going on from the social media standpoint that you're involved in.
Well, when I go with agents, we definitely social media. We use a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram, do the videos to promote what we're going to be doing within the next couple of weeks, or just for advertisement of showing, the appreciation that with all the agents that we work with.
And of all the things you could be doing, you found yourself right here in the money world, a very important thing. What was it about the mortgage profession that attracted you?
I got into that with life-changing situation, but as I did more with Chad, I just really found a lot of interest in it, and I just really grew of wanting to learn more. And when I approached him to change a little bit positions, then I went into the marketing. And I am a people person. I love to meet people. I love to be out and talking to different people and trying to learn how we could help them. And really, even with our clients as they come in, is walking the whole process with them, from when they do the application to when they close, being there with them, supporting them in any way that we can, of setting up their utilities, transferring if they're coming
Full
from out
service,
of town.
right?
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, Chad, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
Oh, that's a great question. So, you had asked me about the veterans, and what I would like to say is that the veteran community is probably the most underserved community that's actually out there. And what I want to do is dispel the myth that a zero-down loan for a veteran is actually, let me say this. A lot of folks think that VA loans are more challenging to get. That's actually the opposite. They're the most lenient when it comes to credit, income, and assets. And I just want to remind agents that if a VA offer does come across, understand this is not your grandfather's VA. You don't have to worry so much about the appraisals like you once did. We actually had a VA loan get clear to close this morning, and we're, I think, over a week early. So they can get done just as quickly.
Chad, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Absolutely. You can reach us at 281-932-8457 or at chadploans.com.
Again, the number is
281-932-8457.
Thanks for being with us, Chad and Marianne.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
I say it on a regular basis, and that is to stay close to your Stewart Title business development person. And we have Hope Moy. She is here. She is our business development officer in Magnolia and Conroe, Texas. Hope, welcome back. It's been a while.
Hey, Bill. It hasn't been that long. It's only been maybe a month.
Well, we get a great response when you're on the show. So let's tell people what the latest is in Magnolia and Conroe with Stewart Title.
We are just, moving and grooving. That's all we can do, right? Just out trying to stay present in front of our customers and kind of piggybacking off of what Marianne said, just really showing our customers how much we appreciate them throughout this last year and just going from there.
And, this is a perfect time as business development people. It's a great time to plan and we're saying get the word out and those things. And, of course, right here on the radio, thousands, if not millions, are listening right now.
Absolutely. There's no better time right now than really reaching out and telling your customers thank you, cleaning up your database, getting out and trying to stay present, passing out calendars, planners, just being out and being in front of people. That's all you can do right now.
And that's right. By the way, at Stewart Title, we have awesome day planners. I love to pass them out. And people, we pass out the day planners, hoping then they'll say the next year, hey, do you have any day planners yet?
Yes.
And they were kind of late coming
this year. They start calling very much in advance. For sure, wanting everything.
Well, right now, Hope, in Magnolia and Conroe, there are people driving around saying, I want to bring my real estate transaction to Hope and the team at Stewart Title in both those locations. Let's tell people how to reach you.
So my Magnolia office has 3 escrow officers. Kelly Ernst is our branch manager alongside Robin Mays and Courtney Minga. I would say combined experience, almost 100 years combined experience. And that office is located off of 1488 and 2978. And also in Conroe, we have Michelle Taylor, who is our branch manager, alongside Marla Wells and Kristen Healy, also combined experience about 100 years. I say that because I think that brings tremendous value to our customers and our real estate agents. As proof that we can get you to the closing table, and we've seen it.
And that's right. That experience, because each real estate transaction is a little bit different, and the experience that you speak of, not just in Magnolia and Conroe, that experience comes into play all over our Houston area, certainly at Stewart Title offices. Sure. And, of course, we're an international company all over where we serve people. So it's very important. Hope, let's tell people how they can reach you.
All right, my number is 346-224-1908. 346-224-1908.
Thank you so much, Hope Moy.
Thank you, Bill.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance, with a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers. Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Once again, here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. John.
Captain, always a pleasure.
Isn't it amazing?
Great show. Great show.
We learn so much. We see the variety of wonderful personalities before us. I'm amazed and saddened that we only have one more show this year before we take a holiday break.
Well, it is sad, but we're excited about 2024.
That's right.
And it's going to, as good as this year was, celebrating our 500th show and all, next year is going to be even better.
No doubt about it. So people await every week for a word on insurance just to take the knowledge up just another notch. What have you for us today?
So we talk a lot about making sure that our clients are properly insured, whether they be individuals and families or real estate professionals. But we also need to talk a little bit about, and when we work with our business clients, we work with them a lot about ways that they can minimize their risk, so that if there is a claim, that the chances of it being substantially damaging are minimized, or some things they can do to make sure that those situations don't occur. So we work with our clients on a regular basis having those conversations, and I wanted to share 18 ways that a real estate broker can, or a realtor can, make sure that they've minimized the risk. And all, again, a risk is the probability of something bad happening.
18 ways.
18 ways.
Wow. Let us begin.
Let us begin. The first one is to avoid or minimize dual agency representation. So I know from time to time a real estate brokerage may represent both the buyer and the seller, and it can be with two separate realtors or it could be with the same realtor. But from a risk perspective and the potential for concern about not representing one better than the other, it's always better if you can avoid or minimize that dual agency representation. From an insurance perspective, if you've got E&O coverage, errors and omissions, insurance companies don't like it when agencies do the dual representation because, again, that's a greater risk they see of potential claim or suit. Listing errors. Make sure that you take the time that when you're writing out your listing that the information is up to date and everything is accurate, because what you don't want to have happen is somebody file a claim because some information was incorrect. You know, Jim Rohn always talks about casualness leads to casualties. So just that idea of making sure that your listing is correct. Make sure that your team is up to date on their continuing education, not to just to maintain their license, but also to make sure that they're providing greater value for your clients and also doing things to minimize risk. Because if you are up to date about what's happening in the marketplace and concerns that may be out there or ways to do things better, then you're going to minimize the chance of a claim or a suit taking place. So staying up to date on your education is important. Transaction oversight. Do you have a process checklist? Do you follow that process checklist? Is there somebody that oversees all the transactions to make sure the documentation is correct and accurate? Because what you don't want to do is get to the closing table and something doesn't happen, or you can't close because the information is incorrect. You know, if you're using a property, a condition disclosure statement, is it completed? Is it fully completed? Is it signed? Does your client understand the purpose of a property condition disclosure statement, so that the chance of some sort of miscommunication is minimized? Are you using buyer presentation agreements? So again, the buyer is aware of, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it, this is when I'm going to do it. So again, it minimizes any potential miscommunications or misunderstandings. Are the listing descriptors accurate and up to date? I know from time to time, if you're helping someone sell a home, for example, and the home was sold recently, you might use the information from the previous transaction in order for your listing description, but there could be some changes in the home. So make sure that those are up to date and accurate. Know if you recommend another professional, a repairman, an inspector, a lender, that you truly are comfortable with who they are, that it would be somebody that you would be willing to use. And in many cases, you're better off if you have multiple options for somebody to. Yeah, I mean, the rule, like, you always hear the rule of three. Yeah. But the main thing is whether it's 3 or 33, that you're comfortable with who you're recommending, because if there is an issue, it's going to come back on you. Document everything. We talk about that all the time on the show. Document everything. Save the things you document. Share your communications. And if you're going to communicate, over communicate. Don't, if you're going to err in being too transparent, versus the alternative. Establish processes and procedures, and then follow those processes and procedures. Because if you have that routine and everybody on the team has that routine, you're going to minimize the chance of something coming into play. And if you do have to go to court, the court is going to want to see that you say that you've done what you said that you were going to do, and that you've done it on a regular basis, not only with that particular client, but with all your clients. Because the court is going to have you prove that you've done the process properly. So having those routines in place and following them is critical. Have the property inspected. That way there's not going to be any concerns or questions. We know what's good, what's bad, what could be improved, what's not, but at least there's in the cliche, all the cards are on the table. So have the property inspected. Where you can, research the property history, so you have some understanding about that property, so there's not any surprises, or the chances of a surprise have been minimized. If you do have open houses, have a safety plan. Make sure that the chances of somebody being hurt at an open house are minimized, or the chances of you or your team having an issue with potentially unwanted guests are minimized. So have an open house safety plan. Be very careful with your client information, how you use it, how you collect it, and how you store it. We talk a lot about cybercrime on the show, so just be careful about how your client information. Stay current on what's happening in the marketplace. What our clients are dealing with today are significantly different than what they dealt with in 2019 and 2020. And expectations should be different. But if they're not aware of the differences in the marketplace, they may still have an expectation of a 2020 market in 2023. So we've got to minimize that. Make sure that your office and business equipment is in good working order, so that you don't have any hiccups, that you can continue to provide the types of services that you want to. And then finally, promote your value. Make sure that people understand the value of working with your brokerage, the value of working with the realtor, because there truly is value. We've heard that today from our guests. So just make sure that they understand what your value is.
Was that 18?
That was 18.
Sounded like 19.
Well, I hope maybe there's a bonus, baker's dozen.
You came with your guns loaded, John. Unbelievable, great information, and reminding people to go to stewart.com/radio in case you want to hear that list again. It was thorough, beautifully done, but also when you first said about the listing presentation, and I think it follows through with each and every recommendation you have, I think, is that every word's important.
Yes.
Details are important.
Yes.
And be careful out there.
Absolutely.
Watch what you do. Like you said, the other thing I think that's so important is documentation.
Well, we have, unfortunately, we're seeing in the insurance world, you see the term personal injury. And it's not about, hurting your arm or hurting your leg or twisting an ankle. It's what you've done to me, how you've made me feel. That's what a person. So if somebody feels like that they've been slandered or libeled or misrepresented or made fun of, there's going to be a claim. So again, what you said, how you say it, where you say it, document it, and then keep your head on the swivel and just be careful out there.
The essence of so many lawsuits. You made me feel this way, that way, or anyway. So yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Well, John, before we close, the important insurance segment. What else should we know?
Well, if you'd like to work with an insurance advisor that's going to take the time to share with you, those 18, so that you do understand how you can minimize your risk. And we do the same thing with our personalized clients, with our individuals and families they work with. The folks at Stewart Insurance would love to have the opportunity to be your insurance partner, whether it be for your home, wind, auto, flood, automobile, or for your real estate business as a broker or a lender, property management firm, independent title and attorney agent. We can help you with your business insurance. And you can reach us at 866-798-2827. That's 866-798-2827. You can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com or email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
John, I'm getting the feeling that someone's on a hayride right now, and they want to be properly insured. What number should they call?
Well, we've really been fortunate, Bill. We have two significant new numbers that just came into play this week. We have the Hayride hotline at 866-798-2827, and then we just established one in Montgomery County, and it's 866-798-2827.
Thank you so much. John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance, stewartinsurance.com. He is back. Jimmy Green with Green and Associates, Mr. Green. As we close the show, Jimmy, what else should we tell people?
When you're up in Willis, come see us. We have lots of seasoned agents, and we'd be glad to help you and move you to the country.
And once again, I really think the weather that we have spectacular. Even if it gets a little bit cooler, it might even be better, but it's a great weekend trip. Or if you got to have a couple days off here with all the holidays, I say go up to Willis, see Jimmy, and explore. It's a beautiful area up there.
Lots of beautiful land to look at. Lots of it.
No doubt about it. So, Jimmy, let's tell people how they can reach you, Jimmy Green.
281-799-1029. That's 281-799-1029.
Jimmy, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Molly McGinty, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Oh, yeah, Worldwide Realty. Molly, here we are.
Hello.
Everyone's talking about the hayride.
It's
I think I had something to do. I was instigating just a little bit of hayride undertones.
Hey, let's talk all about it.
So, before we close the show, Molly, what else do you want people to know?
That I'm here to help with any and all real estate referrals anybody would like to send my way. It is the joy of my heart to help people find home.
It's the first time I ever said hayride undertones, but oh yeah. 2024, no telling what we'll be talking about then.
Yeah, I hope I get to come back and do it again.
Well, we would love to have you back. Also, give us a quick word on people that find you that come from outside of the state of Texas, if that happens at all.
It happens often, and I'm here to help as best as I can. I've got a list of contractors and everybody you might need to help you get established here. And I especially like to talk about my list of restaurants. So you have to remember Houston is a huge foodie place.
Top 2 restaurants that you've been to recently that you've really enjoyed.
Oh, that I've been to recently. Rumi's here in Houston. It's brand new. Yeah, it's really lovely. And Clark's, the new oyster spot.
Not heard of those. I'm going to have to check them out.
Yeah.
I love to discover new restaurants. So let's tell people, Molly McGinty, how they can reach you.
I am Molly Sold It on all the social media platforms, and my phone number is 713-471-0527 and mollysoldit.com.
mollysoldit.com. The number again is
713-471-0527.
Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next year.
Thank you.
Here he is, Chad Prio, Hancock Mortgage. Well, Chad, here we are winding up the show. What else should we know?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that everyone needs to know is that now is the best time to buy a home. So at the end of the day, if you have any concerns or questions or don't really even know where to get started, we would love to help you. You can get a hold of us at 281-932-8457 to find out your purchasing power.
One more time, the number is
281-932-8457.
Thank you so much, Chad.
Thank you.
With Hancock Mortgage. And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett and all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We would be honored to be stewards of your real estate transaction. And oh yeah, you want to hear the show again and see the guest in the studio? Simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. We wish you the greatest of holidays. We will be back next week for another show. And until then, stewart.com/radio. We'll see you next week.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business. Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.